I'm sorry that the sound has been off. I appreciate you guys being with us over on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I didn't even know. I've been failing you guys for a while on that, so I apologize. There we go. Yep, Lanny won. Sorry about that. Appreciate the loyal followers who are watching over there. By the way, I do want to mention one thing to you guys. We are going to do some fantasy sports work over the next few days. So Rival Fantasy has a number of things that we're going to be doing. Best ball challenges. If any of you guys are into best ball challenges, think of it like DFS, but you don't manage your lineup. You just have a draft. You set it, you forget it, and then you're competing against people. It's like DFS, but you're kind of creating the league that you're in as opposed to entering a league with like thousands of people. If any of you guys are interested in that for the NBA or MLB, DM me on Instagram. We will set up a draft just like we did for fantasy football. We're going to do a lot of stuff where you guys can interact with me, play along, and get in leagues with me. We will be doing fantasy football mock drafts in just a few weeks on Rival Fantasy. So now that we've had some of the free agency movement today, obviously over the next few days, we will be doing NFL fantasy football mock drafts in about the next 2-3 weeks. But if any of you guys want to do NBA best bets or MLB best bets, just DM me on Instagram. We can set a time every day where we can do those best ball bets together. Best ball play. I really like the idea of it. Create a fantasy football lineup. Create a DFS lineup with people that you know on NBA lineups and MLB lineups. Something that I'm going to be doing every single day. We've got one more game in the NBA to get to. Celtics and Trailblazers. I'll repeat all my picks after that. But interestingly enough, Celtics are obviously considered a heavy favorite for this game, a 12-point favorite. 93% of the tickets are on the Celtics, but 96% of the money is on the Trailblazers to win this game. Now, that could be because they're a plus 530 bet. Maybe there's such good return on investment that some people think that putting the money down in that direction is a good idea. But I do want to make you aware of the fact that the money is going very heavily towards the Trailblazers in this game. Now, the line for this one opened at minus 13.5, came down to 10.5, has since gone back up to 12.5. You may be asking yourself, why is that the case? Why are the Trailblazers getting so much love? Why is the line moving away from the Celtics? It's because they have 2 injuries to their starting lineup. Drew Holiday is out with left knee tendonitis. Kristaps Porzingis, right hamstring. So both of those players are out. As for the Trailblazers, Jeremy Grant is a game-time decision. Shaedon Sharpe is out. Jabari Walker is out. So Malcolm Brogdon, obviously. So a lot of these players that for the Trailblazers that we already expected to be out are, but not too much that is a shock there. For the Celtics, 2 of their main pieces are out for this game. Now, it does mean that you're going to see Peyton Pritchard shoot the ball a lot more. You're going to see Sam Hauser shoot the ball a lot more. So it might impact some things in terms of the total. We'll get to that in just a second. But let's take a look at the trends between these two teams. For the Celtics and the Trailblazers, when the Celtics have been in Portland over the last few years, they've gone 4-0 in their last 4 games in Portland, 4-0 against the spread as well. Interestingly enough, they were an underdog for 2 of those games. Tells you how times have changed with Dame Lillard no longer there. Because we're all expecting the Celtics to be, such a heavy favorite, I'm just curious. Celtics, when they've had a spread of minus 12.5, let's make it minus 11.5. It's not coming up right now, so let's see that. Okay. So when the Celtics have had a spread of at least 11.5 as a favorite, they've gone 16-1 straight up, 10-7 against the spread. Let's take a look at that when that's been on the road. Wow, interesting. 3-0. The Celtics are 3-0 on the road when they've had a spread of 11.5 or more. So I do like the Celtics on the money line. I know that they have the 2 injuries. I'm probably not going to play the spread on this one. Let's take a look at the Portland Trailblazers so far this season. I'm in the wrong spot. Let's see the Trailblazers when they've been this big an underdog at home. So we're changing things up a little bit on the show. We're not just looking at how teams have done over the course of the season, but specifically how they've done at certain spreads or at certain totals. Always kind of interesting to really hone in on that. Interesting to note here, the Trailblazers, when they've been an underdog of at least 11.5 points, they've gone 0-2 straight up, but they've covered the spread both times. The over has hit both times as well. Let's just take a look at how the Trailblazers have done overall at home as a home underdog. I am kind of curious if that's been a better trend. That's since 2020, the start of 2024. No, they've been pretty shitty. They've been pretty bad. It is interesting to note when they've had that big a spread, they've actually covered the spread. Those two previous games were against the Suns and the Thunder. Man, kind of interesting. Is there value there? Is there value on the Trailblazers to cover the spread? 2 Celtics out. I kind of think there is. I could see a plus 16, a plus 15.5. I feel like that's where it's at. I'm not going to put it up on the board because I don't want to give you guys the impression that I really like it. Much like the Nuggets game, those very wide spreads aren't really attractive to me. But I like this one a little bit more. I don't like the Raptors to cover the spread really at all. But I like the idea of taking the Trailblazers to cover the spread. If you were to take it, 15.5, 14.5, 13.5 would all be good spots. Do I like the 10.5? Not quite, but I certainly think there is value there. As for the total, really quick, again, the over would be the slight favorite play on that, but not by much. I'm not crazy about it, but if I were to go in any direction, I actually kind of lean towards the over. Right now, the total for the over is set at 218.5. It's really hung true to that. I like the over in this game. I'd obviously buy it down because you guys know that's what I do. I would take over 217.5. I am willing to kind of bet on that one. Trailblazers. Celtics, Trailblazers. Over, what'd I say? 214.5. So I like that, and it's simply because who's going to be on the floor for the Celtics? Guys who shoot the three. So I just think there's a greater chance that those guys go off and get us above that 214.5 total. That's why I play it that way. Okay, those are all the picks for the NBA. Let me recap for those who just joined the show. All of my picks are free every day. If you miss any of the picks that I'm about to give out, just DM me on Instagram. I give away my picks on the SHARPZ app, so just DM me on Instagram. My handle on Instagram is ButtFumbleSports, so DM ButtFumbleSports on Instagram. I give away my picks for free. I love doing this research for you guys, so as long as you guys DM me on Instagram, I'll hook you up with all of my picks. 10 speed, I do think Trailblazers plus 14.5. I think plus 14.5 is right. Plus 14.5, plus 15.5. I'm not going to bet that 110 speed, so that tells you my level of confidence. I usually don't like to take those really big spreads, but I do think Trailblazers with 2 Celtics starters out might be a good play. Now, let's get to a recap of all the NBA picks that we've given out. We're taking Pistons on the money line. We're taking Hornets Pistons under 222.5. We're taking the Suns on the money line. We're taking the Suns Cavaliers under 225.5. We're taking the Mavericks on the money line. We're taking Mavericks Bulls over 226.5. Spurs plus 8.5 is the next pick that we have. We also like the Warriors and Spurs under 230.5. We have Nuggets on the money line. We have Celtics on the money line. And we have Celtics Trailblazers over 214.5. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If any of you guys are interested in the picks that we give out, just DM me on Instagram. We're going to switch on over to doing our research for the NHL. We'll get to our picks for our player prop bets after that. So that's what we've got left in the show. We're going to do NHL picks, and then we're going to do NBA player prop bet picks. We're going to switch over to the NHL right now, see what's going down in puck tonight. There are just 4 games in the NHL. First game that we're going to be talking about is a battle between the Rangers and the Devils at Madison Square Garden. Rangers are the favorite for this game. When these two teams have met over the last few years, as we pull up the trends right now on killersports.com, when it decides it wants to go. so far over the last few years. Actually, let's tighten that sample size a little bit. Appreciate you guys joining the show. Appreciate you guys being with us. Okay, since 2020, these two teams have played at Madison Square Garden 11 times. Devils have actually done well over the last few games. They've gone 5-6 straight up over the last 11 games, but they've gone 3-2 over the last 5 games at Madison Square Garden. The over has also gone 3-2 over that span of time. Let's go to some of the other trends that we like around this game. We're going to look at the Devils. Since the start of 2024, how have they done on the road? They've been 5-8 overall, 6-7 against the spread. How about as an underdog at that time? 3-10 straight up, 6-7 as towards the under. They've gone 0-3 as a underdog in their last 3 games. 2 of those, wow, only one of those came on the road. How about as a road underdog so far? They are 2-6 as a road underdog in 2024. The under's gone 2-6 as well. So the Rangers are certainly a play that we like. The under's a play that we like. Let's double check on that as we look at the Rangers. When the Rangers have been a home favorite so far in 2024, they're 10-3. They've been on a 7-game winning streak, and the under's gone 8-5. I really like the under in this one, and I like the Rangers. So those are the next picks we're going to put up on the board. That's Rangers on the money line, and Devils and Rangers. I would take the under. Let's take a look at the best spot to take it. By the way, 65% of the money is on the Rangers to win. 92% of the money is on the under. So both of those are following the money. Interestingly enough, the money is really coming down on the under. Under 6.5 might be one I actually would be willing to take tonight. Under 6.5 and under 7. That's our first set of NHL picks that we're putting up on the board. Let's go to the next game in the NHL between the St. Louis Blues and the Boston Bruins as Torrey Krug returns to Boston. 65% of the tickets are on the Bruins. 86% of the tickets are on the Bruins to cover the spread. And the under is getting more love than the over is. Let's look at the trends between the two teams, Blues and Bruins, when they have met in Boston over the last few years. Remembering this was a Stanley Cup matchup not too long ago. They've gone 1-1 against each other since 2020. Interesting that they've only played those 2 times. That's a bit surprising to me. I would have thought they would have played more frequently. How have the Blues done as a road underdog in 2024? Blues have gone 6-7, but they've really struggled on the road since about mid-February. Since February 13th, they have just 1 win on the road. The under's done really well over the last 5 games as well. The under's gone 4-0-1 over the last 5 games that the Blues have played as a road underdog. How about the Bruins as a home favorite in 2024? They've gone 10-7, but they've won their last 4 games at home. I like the Bruins to win in this game. Bruins on the money line is the next pick we're giving out. I also like the under. I would tend to follow the under as well. I know that's where the money's coming down. Right now, it's a 5.5 goal total. I don't like that. I certainly would take it at the 6.5. Under 6.5 at -155. That's Blues, Bruins, under 6.5 goals. We've only got 2 more games in the AHL to get to. Then we're going to do NBA player prop bets. Next game that we're going to focus on, Washington Capitals and the Winnipeg Jets. Jets are getting 81% of the tickets on the money line, but 90% of the money is actually on the Capitals to win this game. So interesting about that. I want to dive into the trends to see if there's a reason behind that. Capitals and Jets have played 2 times since 2020. The Capitals have won both of those games. The under has gone 2-0. If I extend that out just a little bit, since 2018, these are rare matchups between these two teams. Capitals, when they have been a road underdogs in 2024, they've gone 4-8 straight up. The over has gone 6-4-2. When the Jets have been a home favorite, they have gone 9-3. They've won 5 of their last 6 games at home. The over has gone 4-0. It's interesting the Jets are getting as much love as they are. Capitals, they've done a decent job covering the spread, though, over the last 7 games. That stands out to me on the road. Yeah, they've done a good job covering that 1-goal spread. That's probably where I'm going to go with this game. I'm going to take the Capitals at plus 1.5. And I'm willing to take the Capitals and the Jets. And I'm going to take the over. Right now, the total for this game is set at 5.5. That's why I'm willing to take the over. Can I get it at 4.5? No, that's at a minus 350. If I took it over 5, it's minus 240. I'm willing to do that on a parlay play. Over 5 on a parlay play would probably be another bet that I'd go with. I'm willing to take that chance on it. Part of the reason for that is because the Capitals have been consistently scoring around 2.5, 3 goals. Jets have been scoring around over 2.5, 3 goals. Getting close to 4 consistently. I like the over on this game. Hector, appreciate the comment. Appreciate you guys joining us. Butt Fumble Sports is live at 5 p.m. Eastern every single weekday, Monday through Friday. We're live talking fantasy football, or fantasy sports in general, sports betting, and of course just ranting about what's going on in the sports world. So make sure you hit the follow button, live Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, on the weekends, usually at 10:30 or 11 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, no matter the platform you're watching on, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. If you do watch over on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, you get to see my screen. I know I was struggling earlier today to have the sound up, so obviously sometimes we fail on that front. But that said, we put up our picks up on the board every single day. We want you guys to see our picks. My picks are based on trends, data, analytics. I want you guys to know what it is. You guys are off working hard to earn a buck. If you want to put that buck towards sports betting, I'm here to help you guys out, know the trends and data behind all the matchups each and every day. So make sure you follow, make sure you're with us. And of course, if you want all the bets that I make every single day, I give them away for free. Just DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram and you'll get every bet that I make every single day. I never ever charge for my picks because I think it's ridiculous that people do that. So with that said, we have another NHL game to get to. Last one of the evening, Islanders and Kings. This is a tricky one for me. Islanders are getting 65% of the tickets on the money line, but only 58% of the money. The over is getting a lot more action. The over/under set at 5.5. Oh, big news in the NFL. Carlton Davis III headed to the Detroit Lions. A trade has been made, so the Lions addressing that secondary. Nice move there. They know they need to address the secondary in the same way the Packers knew they needed to do so as well. Anyways, let's get back to the NHL. Islanders and Kings is the next game we're going to be focusing on. These two teams have played each other 4 times over the last few years. The Kings have gone 3-1, and they have won by at least 3 goals all 3 times. The over/under has gone 3-1 towards the over in the last 4 meetings between these two teams in LA. The Islanders, as a road team in 2024, have gone 7-8. They've won their last 4 games on the road, 6 of their last 7 on the road. The over's been a very good play. The over's hit in 3 straight games, and in 4 of the last 6 games they've played on the road. Specifically, as a road favorite so far in 2024, though, they've gone just 3 and 4 straight up. The over is hit 4-2-1. The over is hit in that situation. So once again, the over doing well in the trends that we're looking at. Let's see about the Kings. When the Kings are a home underdog in 2024, they haven't actually. Who's the favorite in this? Okay, sorry. The Islanders are an underdog. Islanders are an underdog in this game. When they are a road underdog, they're 3-3. They've won their last 3 games as a road underdog. That was against the Leafs, the Penguins, and the Stars. Kind of interesting there. So the Islanders have done a good job covering the spread. Where I saw it earlier today, I could have sworn. Interesting. Okay. Maybe it's just because the money coming down on the Islanders had me thinking the other way. Anyways, when the Kings are a home favorite so far this season. Oh. Kings is a home favorite, are 5-7. They have won 3 of their last 4 games. The under's been a much better play when the Kings are at home as a favorite. The under's gone 8-4. That kind of throws me off from wanting to take that over-under. There was a part of me that wanted to jump on that. Not as much right now. To be honest, I really don't like this game. This is a game I'm probably not going to bet. If I had to, I'd probably lean towards the over 5. If I were to place a bet on this game, I feel like that's the right spot to take it. But, I'm not crazy about it. Average total. If I had to go in any direction, I'd go over 5.5, but I'm not, it's just not one of my favorites. So anyways, let me recap. We've gone now through all the NHL picks for the night. My favorite NHL picks for the night so far are Rangers on the money line, Devils and Rangers under 6.5, under 7. I like the Bruins on the money line. I like Blues and Bruins under 6.5. I like the Capitals plus 1.5. And I like Capitals Jets over 5.5. Over 5 if you're looking to play a parlay. So now that we've covered the NBA and the NHL, we will close up killersports.com and switch exclusively over to Outlier as we do our player prop bets. What all sports do you cover? We cover the NFL, we cover the MLB, we cover the NBA, we cover the NHL, and we cover college sports as well on the men's side, college men's basketball and college football when the season comes around. It's time now to switch over to cover player prop bets for the NBA. Again, we only have about 5 games in the NBA tonight, so player prop bets not going to be as plentiful. 6 games in the NBA, excuse me. The way we do our player prop bets every day is we go to outlier.com, or Outlier, the Outlier app, Outlier Bet, rather. So the Outlier app, and we look at points, rebounds, and assists, and look at that total, and to see if there are any good odds to be taking, any good trends to be taking, based on the matchups each day. So, points for point guards is a very good play against the... Why am I on Chris Paul? I don't want to be on that. We're starting with the Hornets and the Pistons. Hornets and Pistons. As a reminder for this game, we like the Pistons on the money line, and we did like the under 222.5, so just as a reminder for that. Let's take a look at some of the player matchups that we have for tonight. The Hornets, when it comes to where they give up a lot of points, the small forward position, they give up a lot of points. The center position, they give up a lot of points. They give up a lot of rebounds to point guards. Let's start by looking at Isaiah Stewart, center for the Pistons. He's got a very good matchup. His total is set at 11.5. Don't like it there. If I take it at over 9.5, he's hit that in 8 of his last 10 games. He's missed on his last 2. Let's take a look at that in home games. In home games, 7 of his last 10. Over his last 20 games, 13 of his last 20. Head-to-head, he did hit this in his last game against the Hornets. Let's take a look if Asir Thompson's out. Let's just see. Oh, interesting. When Asir Thompson's not in the lineup, it's not as good a play. Okay, that's going to steer me away since he's a game-time decision. Let's take a look at Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham doesn't have a great matchup when it comes to points. Not going to take that. He has been hot of late. He's been doing a good job. But I want to take a look at it on rebounds. Cade Cunningham on rebounds has a good matchup. He's hit his over 4.5 in 6 of his last 10 games. At home, 4 of his last 5. So he's been getting some more rebounds of late. I don't love it at the 4.5. If I went down to 3.5, this is hit in 15 of his last 20 home games. 14 of his last 20 games overall. It's hit in 8 of his last 10 games. This is something I'm willing to take. This is Cade Cunningham. Over 3.5 rebounds. Cade Cunningham over 3.5 rebounds. That's going to be the first player prop bet that we put up on the board. Just looking at any other trends or matchups that stand out. The small forward position just has a really good matchup in this game. Isaiah Stewart also has a good matchup on rebounds. I should check that. I know we looked at him on points earlier. We should also look at Jalen Duren. For points, it's not a great trend. And Thompson doesn't play. Let's take a look at that. When it's here, Thompson doesn't play. He's actually done a good... Man, Durant, that's interesting. So Stewart doesn't play as well, but Durant plays well. Okay, that's interesting. Anyways, let's go to rebounds on Jalen Duren. Yeah, ASJ, I just saw that. Great trade. Great trade by the Lions. Great move. So Duren on rebounds. I don't like the spot. No, not going to take it. Let's take a look at Stewart on rebounds. Isaiah Stewart. For rebounds, his total set at 6.5. It's hitting 14 of his last 20 games at home. It's hitting back-to-back games. It's hitting 4 straight games against the Hornets. So I'll take that. Based on the trend, Isaiah Stewart over 5.5 rebounds. Now, I do have Cade Cunningham rebounds and Isaiah Stewart rebounds, which obviously begs the question, how many people can get so many rebounds in a game? But trends go where they go, so I kind of follow them sometimes. A bit too much. Yeah, I still feel good about Isaiah Stewart as I go through the research. Anyways, let's look on the other side of things and look at how the Charlotte Hornets matchups look. Point guard position has a good matchup. Small forward position. Power forward position also has a good matchup when it comes to points. So Grant Williams has a better matchup than he normally does. The center position does as well. So a number of different positions here. Bertans at power forward. His point total is set at 16. His point total is set at 11.5. He's been consistently getting over double digits. Davis Bertans has gone over double digits in 5 straight games, 6 out of his last 7. I like that. Trey Mann is out. Let's just see that really quick. When Trey Mann is out, head over. I don't know. I like the Davis Bertans on the point total. Do I really want to bet that? Not really, so I'm not going to put it up on my board, but I'm just letting you guys know that actually is a play that I like. How about Miles Bridges? Oh. I got to plug in my phone. There you go. No, that didn't do it. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at Miles Bridges' matchup. He's got a good matchup when it comes to points. Miles Bridges, his point total set at 23.5. Against the Hornets, not a very good trend. Not going to take it. Okay, those are going to be the picks that we do for the Hornets and the Pistons. How about for Suns and Cavaliers? That's the next game we're going to look at. No college basketball picks today, Dan Lee. I haven't looked at it yet, but no college basketball picks. There's not a lot on the slate. So let's take a look at the matchups for the Suns. How do they look against the Cavaliers? Cavaliers are a pretty good team defensively, but the one area where they struggle is the small forward position. You know who the small forward is for the Phoenix Suns? It's Kevin Durant. So I'm thinking Kevin Durant is going to have a big game. He has gone over 30 points in 3 straight games, over 30 points in 4 of his last 5. So a lot of reason to believe Kevin Durant is in for a big game today. As for Devin Booker is in the lineup. Devin Booker is going to play. I'm seeing that he has been removed from the injury report. Eric Gordon is out, but Devin Booker is going to play. Let's take a look at how when Devin Booker has been in the lineup, he's only hit over 30 points one time. His point total is set at 26.5. When Devin Booker's in the lineup, the points are definitely different for Kevin Durant. He's only gone over this point total in 3 of his last 10 games when Devin Booker has been in the lineup. His last 10 road games, that is. If I move this down to 24.5, it's still not a good play. So I love the matchup for Kevin Durant to score points, but Devin Booker being in the lineup, I don't know. Can he get to 25? If I were to take it anywhere, I might be willing to take it at like a 22.5. I could see him only being at 23 points. So I'd be willing to take Kevin Durant over 22.5 points, but that's probably too low for so many sports books to be giving it out. FanDuel is the only sports book that's giving it out there. Yeah, you got to be careful with KD or with a book play. I completely agree with you, so you got to be really wary of that. Let's flip it around to the other side. Let's see how the Cavaliers matchups look against the Suns. Point guard has a good matchup. Shooting guard has a good matchup when it comes to rebounds and assists. Power forward has a good matchup on points. And the center has a good matchup when it comes to assists. Let's take a look at Jared Allen. Jared Allen's assist total is set at 2.5. He's hit that in he's hit it in 3 straight games, 3 of his last 4. It's only at 2.5 right now. It's a nice spot. I like it. Jared Allen over 2.5 assists. I think this could easily hit. It's been a very consistent play. How about when when Evan Mobley is not in the lineup, how is it done? When Evan Mobley hasn't been in the lineup, this is hit in 7 of his last 10 games. It's hit in 16 of his last 20 without Evan Mobley. And in home games specifically, this is a great trend. When Evan Mobley's been out, Jared Allen has had at least 2.5 assists in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of his last 11 games. So it's a good bet to me. That's Jared Allen over 2.5 assists. That's one of my favorite plays of the day, just based on what I'm seeing. Let's take a quick look at it when Donovan Mitchell isn't in the lineup. Is there any reason this hasn't been as good a trend? Still decently consistent over the last few games, so I'm not going to sweat it too much. It really is to me when he's been the primary center. So I like Jared Allen over 2.5 assists. That's a good bet. Any other matchups that we want to take? Let's look at Darius Garland on points. Darius Garland on the point total. His point total set at 22.5. Let's take a look when Donovan Mitchell has been out of the lineup. How is his point total gone? Not good enough. Don't really like it, so I'm not going to take that one. Let's take a look at Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert is the shooting guard. He's got a good matchup on rebounds, and he's got a good matchup on assists. If I were to take rebounds at over 3.5, it'd be a very good play. Over 4.5 is not nearly as good a play, so you're going to have to move the line. But not enough for me to take it. Someone's asking about Sam Merrill. Sam Merrill, when it comes to points, 8.5. Kind of an interesting spot. I don't particularly like it, but interesting idea. D. Turner, do I like Darius Garland on the under? I don't, because the matchup doesn't love it. I would just avoid it. It's one of those where I don't have a strong enough feeling about it. It could go either way. By the way, great to see you, D. Turner. Thanks so much, buddy. Let's go to our next game. Mavericks, Bulls. Luka Doncic does not have a good matchup in this game. In fact, there was a part of me today that was definitely considering wanting to take the under the 32.5 points, 33.5 points that he currently is going. I'm not going to. It's been such a good trend that I don't actually want to play it. But in his last 2 games against the Bulls, he's failed to have 20 points. So kind of interesting about that. By the way, let's take a look at when he's had Kyrie Irving in the lineup with him. How is his point total be when he's had Kyrie Irving in the lineup? He has gone over 32 at 33.5 points in 12 of his last 20 games with Kyrie. On the road, 12 of his last 20 as well. So he's been pretty consistent with Kyrie in the lineup, continuing to get his buckets. What matchups do we like for the Mavericks game? Not really any. The power forward position would be the only one. Thanks, D. Turner. if I'm looking at the shooting guard position, assists is a good play. Tim Hardaway Jr., his assist total is just set at half an assist. He's hit that in 8 of his last 10 games, 8 of his last 10 road games, 15 of his last 20 road games overall. Against the Bulls, he hit this 2 times. I take this bet. Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. over half an assist. I think that's actually a good play just based on the matchup and how that trend has gone over the last few games. Continuing to just look for good opportunities. We're going to flip it over to the Bulls side of things. They've got good matchups all over the board. The shooting guard position has a good matchup on points. Let's go at Ayo Duso. I'm not going to pronounce his name correctly. Forgive me. Dusomo. I know he came from Illinois, but anyways. His point total set at 14.5. Over 12.5 would be a really good play. Interesting there. See how he does with Kobe White in the lineup. It's been a pretty good trend. Power forward position is also a good spot to take on points tonight for the Bulls. For the center position, no. Anyways, I really don't want to bet the Bulls on this game. I feel like the under is going to play. Just not crazy about some of these bets, so I'm going to move on. Next game I'm going to focus on is the Warriors and the Spurs. Warriors and Spurs. No Steph Curry in this game. Steph Curry is out. How has Chris Paul done when Steph Curry's out of the lineup? He has a good matchup when it comes to points, but he doesn't have a great trend when Steph Curry is out of the lineup. Actually, let's take a look at here. There you go. So when Steph Curry's out of the lineup, he's only gone over 11.5 points 5 times. If I drop that down, though, to over 9.5, Chris Paul has gone over 9.5 points 8 of the last 10 games in which Steph Curry hasn't played. On the road, it's cashed 8 of the last 10 games as well. I'm going to put that one up on my board. Chris Paul over 9.5 points. Chris Paul over 9.5 points is the next bet I'm going to give out. Let's take a look at assists for Chris Paul. How's that? The matchup's a good one. Let's take a look when Steph Curry's out of the lineup. Chris Paul's assist total has been right around 7, 8. It's right now set at 8.5. So I'm not as crazy about this one. You'd have to take it at like over 6.5 to get me interested. And frankly, I don't like it enough. Let's take a quick look at how Brandon Pozinski, he disappointed me the other day, but with Steph Curry out of the lineup, how has he been on points? Nah, not a good play. He's actually really failed, to be honest. Let's take a look on the other side of things with the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama. Who doesn't want to bet on Victor Wembanyama these days? But does he have a good matchup? He does on rebounds and assists. Let's take a look at his rebound total. It's set right now at 11.5. He's been right around 10 on 11 over the last few games. If I were to just say he gets over 9.5, that's been an incredible bet. I know it's probably good for a parlay. Victor Wembanyama over 9.5 rebounds. I put it into a 2-leg parlay with one of the other bets that we've given out during the show. I'd also look for him on blocks. Right now, his block total is set at 3.5. He's hit that very consistently. Blocks is actually a position that the Warriors aren't too bad at. Could I drop this down to 2.5? Not at a good spot. It's been such a good trend, though. That's what really has my attention. Not as much at home, so I actually take it back. I'm not going to take Victor Wembanyama blocks. I thought I was going to. Actually, not a good trend. So those are the bets we're giving out for that game. Let's continue to move forward. I'll recap all these player prop bets in just a little bit. Let's go shift over to the Denver Nuggets and the Raptors. This game's a blowout. I am a little bit worried about this game in terms of how long the starters are going to be on the floor for the Nuggets. So you may not want to bet this game too heavy. One area, though, that I like this game, Jamal Murray on assists. I would take Jamal Murray over 6.5 assists. I think that's a very good play. I think Jamal Murray is going to be in distribution mode tonight. So over 6.5 assists is the play I would make. I'd also take over 5.5 for some parlays. Again, if you were to take the over 5.5 assists for Jamal Murray, over 9.5 rebounds for Victor Wembanyama, that might be a good 2-leg parlay. We have just one more game in the NBA to look at from a player prop bet standpoint. No Porzingis in the Celtics game tonight. We're looking for good matchups for them. It really comes from Derek White. That might be a good matchup. But let's look when there's no Drew Holiday on the floor. How have these teams how have these lineups performed, or how have players for the Celtics performed? I'm looking at Derek White. When Drew Holiday is out of the lineup, how is Derek White doing? Really well. Let's take a look at it on points. He's got a good matchup on points. He hasn't been hitting his total. Bring it down a little bit. If I can get Derek White over 12.5 points, that's a spot I'd be willing to take. Derek White. He might become more of a facilitator. So before I even do that, I got to make sure I'm looking at it correctly, because he's got a lot of good matchups. Frankly, I kind of like Derek White. If I take Drew Holiday out of the lineup, Derek White has gone over his points, rebounds, and assist total in 5 straight games. On the road in 3 straight games. It's right now set at 24.5. I'm going to buy it down. I'll take Derek White over 21.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. That's a play I would make. Derek White over 21.5 PRA. If I look at it on assist total, he has gone over 5.5 assists, which is his total tonight, in 7 straight games. When Drew Holiday is not in the lineup, hasn't been as good. Too bad. Now let's take a look with Porzingis out of the lineup. When Porzingis is out of the lineup. Oh, wow. Breaking news. The New York Giants have traded for Brian Burns. The New York Giants have traded for Brian Burns. Massive news in the NFL. Wow. Thibodeau and wow. That is massive. Brian Burns to the Giants. Wow, that defensive line just got a whole lot better from a pass rush standpoint. I know they don't have Saquon Barkley, but who cares? Wow, that's a great trade. Great trade. I'm curious to know what they gave up. So if anyone sees details, where do I think T. Higgins lands? I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina's in play. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots are in play. But frankly, I think the best spot for him would have been to stay in Cincinnati for another year. But 5 years, they extended Burns. Wow. So you're telling me that the Giants have a nasty pass rush for the next few years. Wow. Okay. Let's get back to some some NBA action for the moment. I just want to see how Jaylen Brown has done when Porzingis is out of the lineup. Is there anything about his stats that I like? Points, he's gone over his point total pretty consistently over his last few games. How about with Porzingis out of the lineup? No, nothing there. Let's take a look at Al Horford really quick. Not multiple, just 1 5th-round pick. No way. 2nd and a 5th for Burns. Wow. Wow. That is nothing. That is such a good trade. No way. That is such a good trade for the Giants. A 2nd and a 5th. 2nd and a 5th to get Brian Burns, and you lock him up for the next 5 years. That's a phenomenal trade. Like, I love that for the Giants. I love that for the Giants. Because Brian Burns is a beast. Like, he was on a shit team. If the Giants can be even half decent, I mean, wow. Love that move. Love that move. Okay, definitely about that. We're just closing up here. I don't see a lot of trends that I like in this Celtics Trailblazers game. So let me recap the player prop bets that we just gave out over the last few minutes. I like Cade Cunningham over 3.5 rebounds. I like Isaiah Stewart over 5.5 rebounds. I like Kevin Durant over 22.5 points. I like Jared Allen over 2.5 assists. I like Tim Hardaway Jr. over half an assist. I like Chris Paul over 9.5 points. I like Victor Wembanyama over 9.5 rebounds. I like Jamal Murray over 6.5 assists or over 5.5 assists. and I like Derek White over 21.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. If you guys missed any of my picks that I give out during the show, just DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. I give away my picks for free every single day. I want you guys to see my picks that are based on trends, data, analytics, and matchups. So if you guys ever want a single pick, I never charge for them. They're never behind a paywall. There's a lot of transparency. So just DM me on Instagram. The name of my handle, Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. I'll give you the link and referral code for the SHARPZ app. SHARPZ is a free app that shows my picks every single day. So if you ever want to see the picks that I make, just DM me on Instagram and I'll be more than happy to give them out. I have loved talking sports with you guys this evening. It has been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy all the sports action tonight, because obviously there's still going to be stories coming out of the NFL when it comes to free agent signings. So hold on to your hats. But we also have the NBA, we have the NHL, we do have some college men's basketball, though I didn't bet that tonight. So if you guys want my picks, DM me on Instagram. And for all of you who just watched the show, I am so grateful for your support. I hope you guys follow, and I hope you join me again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow to talk sports and obviously cover everything that's going down across the sports world. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody.